Hello and welcome to year 2 of 3-Minute Board Games. In this video I'm going to cover off our first year, talk about what the channel is about, some of the challenges we are facing, and then our direction for this second year. This first year has been utter madness and I'm absolutely floored by how well the channel has been received by you all. 100 videos, 11,000 subscribers, and 700,000 views. If you had told me this time last year that this is where the channel would be, I would have called you a filthy liar and a fantasist. And honestly, it still doesn't feel real to me. I have so many people to thank. First up are all my Patreon backers. The most underrated thing about Patreon is that it's a community of people invested in the idea of the channel. And that community aspect is what I like. That I know there are a group of people who really care about what the channel is doing and want to be involved in steering it. And based on our results, they're doing a damn fine job. I'd also like to thank our sponsor, Board Game Prices. The idea of sponsorship and impartiality in reviewing is one that made me think I'd never get one. But Board Game Prices are the perfect sponsor to partner with because they support all games and just provide a service to the community. I can legitimately endorse them as I have been using them for years. One thing I'll pledge right now is that you won't see any infomercials disguised as board game content on this channel ever. Which brings us to our kaupapa. Kaupapa is a te reo Māori word that translates as a set of guiding principles and values for a group. And I want to talk about the values we have and how they impact on the channel. Every single game is reviewed honestly and there is no money exchanged for the review. Even my Kickstarter game reviews are proper reviews and not paid previews. This is very important to me. What you hear in a review is what I think or the opinion of one of the people I played the game with. Every game covered will have the positives and negatives, even ones I absolutely loved. If I get a review copy of a game, I'll mention it. I currently do on the few reviews where I have got review or preview copies of a game and will continue to do so. I run a weekly test group for my games and attend multiple other gaming sessions each week. I try to play games with people from different backgrounds who have different levels of skill. My test group includes casual gamers and designers of well-regarded games. It's this mix of people that helps me evaluate the pros and cons better for each game. The core business of the channel is 3-minute reviews of board games for YouTube, and that will remain its focus. And while I will do some other content, this channel will remain focused on that task over all others. I will do my best to get one recap video out a week with any additional content built around that. I do a lot of solo gaming and I want the channel to reflect that more. So I plan to do more solo reviews over the coming year. I also plan on doing some other solo focused content later in this year. I am from Aotearoa, New Zealand, and that's a big part of my identity. I will continue to support games made and designed by people in New Zealand. We have a great game design community here that is really supportive and I want to use the channel to showcase that. Especially as it's quite hard for local designers to get over to the big American and European conventions to showcase their games. Here's a few of the New Zealand games I hope to see on the channel this year. Well, this is one value I really want to hold up, but I'm only human. But seriously, the reason my face isn't all over the channel is twofold. I don't want to be any kind of famous. That idea leaves me with a cold sweat. And I really want the games to be the star of the channel. I'm doing the channel because I find it fun. And that's the reason I keep doing it. It's a hobby for me, a sideline to my actual career, and I'm pretty content to leave it that way. So that's what 3MBG is all about. Let's talk about the challenges for the coming year. Now this quote comes from a conversation about revenue and reviewers from Undead Vikings' weekly Alaboom stream. Scott Eldon runs Board Game Geek and was talking about how YouTube heavily favours content that keeps people watching for an extended period of time. Rado and Scott are right. This channel is likely never going to be profitable off ad revenue, considering how little it generates compared to the 10 odd hours of work each video is to make. And those 10 hours do not include actually playing the game. I do 100 plus still photos, editing, script writing, recording, and around 80 animations per video, and that all takes an awful lot of time. At the moment it's paying for itself and allowing me to buy new games, but I'm not planning on retiring from my day job as I like having a house and eating food on occasion. But why are you buying games, Jay? Don't reviewers get them sent for free all the time? Some reviewers do. I certainly do not. Here are the games I reviewed last year that I purchased myself. Yep, it's still going. Still going. Anytime now. Anytime. Nope, still going. And here are the games I borrowed off friends in order to review. These games were sent to me as preview copies that were either incomplete or I had to return. And finally, here are all the games I got actual review copies for, and a big thank you to those publishers for doing that. I don't go to the big overseas conventions and network to pick up games there. That's prohibitively expensive to do, as flying from New Zealand to anywhere is really costly. And several publishers have flat out said they won't send games overseas to me. As the channel grows, this is changing and I'm getting warmer responses, but the vast bulk of games reviewed are coming out of whatever ad and Patreon revenue the channel is making. And this is another reason why Patreon is so important to the long-term life of the channel. It's helping me get more games in order to make more content, and being part of our Patreon group means you get to vote on what games we add to the collection, as well as what games are reviewed next. Patreon really is the one thing that will help this channel continue to grow and continue to function. So if you like this content, please sign up. Oh, and we will likely never do a Kickstarter for the channel to generate revenue. Kickstarters require things to give away, and I don't have anything to give away. And after shipping stuff to and from New Zealand around the world, I doubt it would be very cost effective anyway. So if you're holding off for a Kickstarter, just jump on Patreon instead. Now, because I do all the talking, you may assume this channel is just one beardy dude's efforts. It's not. My partner Stephanie is heavily involved in the creative process for the channel. Every cover for our videos and all the graphics are done by her. Yes, she is responsible for the beard scale of complexity, which is really about teasing me for being a beardy gamer. And she has completely revamped our graphics package for Season 2. This is all part of our ongoing effort to steadily improve the channel as we go along. And this year we want to invest in some better lighting and a decent macro lens to improve our photography. Content coming up in the near future includes the following games, as well as some top 10 lists and a special list for my 42nd birthday, which is coming up in February. I'm also cooking up some other content, but I don't want to say anything in case it doesn't pan out. But there will be some longer form content coming out this year, just because that's how YouTube works. What we are not planning is any kind of streaming content. I'm awake when most of you are asleep. So that's it. Our State of the Channel address for 2019. I hope this gives everyone a clear idea of what 3 Minute Board Games is about and where we are going. If you want to support the channel, subscribe, hit the notification button, and go check out our Patreon. Thank you for your time.